Hello and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. So the passenger services of Chapelon-Crosti have commenced, and here we've got a local train, a third-class local train, just to begin with, hauled by the SNCF 140C231 2A2 goods and even mixed traffic locomotive. Well, I'll put a link in the description box with a potted history of this locomotive, which was French design, but this 231 was actually built by North British Locomotive Company in Glasgow during World War I. Anyway, the World War I connection is also in this train because, I'll bring it closer. Okay. The two coaches are two nearly identical Prussian State Railways six-wheel coaches or three-axle coaches. Not this one here with the Deutsche Reichsbahn. These are Rocco models, Deutsche Reichsbahn, and in this case here we have SNCF. So now, if I don't remember, this here is what you call a piece of armistice rolling stock. So Germany had to hand over locomotives, rolling stock as war reparations at the end of World War I. Of course, this preceded the establishment of the Deutsche Reichsbahn in 1920 and also of the SNCF in 1938. If I don't remember badly, SNCF, French State Railways, were established in 1938. Prior to that, there were the various companies. There was West, there was Etat, there was Nord, etc. There was the Paris, Lyon, PLM, Paris, Lyon, Marseille, if I'm trying to remember. Okay, anyway, that's just a little introduction to our little train, short train, and these are very, very nice coaches. I really like three-axle coaches. I have my quirks and things I like. Three-axle coaches, loco-driven steam locomotives like the 140C231, and okay, here it is. So just if you're new to the channel, the 140C231 locomotive by Joef is a loco-driven engine. 5-pole motor in here in the smoke box area, which drives let's see if we can put it in the light. Wow. You can see in there, shining in the firebox, you can see the pulley. That's a motor pulley. That motor pulley is connected to the drive shaft by means of a rubber belt, and the drive shaft then transmits power to the wheels, to this rearmost axle, which is the driven one. The others are linked with traction tyres by means of a worm drive and a gear on the wheel. So unlike the 040TA you see over there, that's an older design that has got 3-pole motor with a gear, and the gear engages the drive shaft. So nylon gear on brass gear on the drive shaft, and then the worm drive at the end. So that's much noisier. It's also because the 3-pole motor is much noisier. The 5-pole Joef motor is very quiet. So let's just get this train underway. I really like this locomotive. It's one of my favourite tender locomotives. Okay, there we go. Right, well, the passengers get on the train. We'll have a look around the station. You can see that I've actually got 2 locomotives in the sidings while I'm running that train, but no No, I haven't done any wiring. I've not fitted any switches. These are sitting on top of some high-tech insulation. Cut plastic folder this way. I can sit here and be decorative and I can run another train. So for the moment, this is a solution because I would like to get the lighting and other things done. I am planning to fit at least, I don't want to do too much wiring under the board, so pulling cables over to here because then it leans on the trolley, and so I'm trying to keep it as bare underneath as possible. So I'm thinking to fit, at least on the internal circuit, see there, at this set of points, insulate it completely. So insulate the fish plates, 2 insulated fish plates, to put this line here, to be able to disconnect this line from the main line. I could do the same thing even here for this siding, but I'm going to fit small switches, micro switches here on the board, camouflaged, anyway, paraphernalia you see along the railway, and because I want to have everything at my fingertips anyway. I'm changing points manually and everything, so who cares? I want to play trains and tell stories when I eventually finish building this thing. And I was going to say, that's another thing. I keep doing doing videos late at night because I'm very busy during the day. It's great, and then I don't follow a script, so I'm okay. What was I going to say about that? Yes. So the idea is to be able to, if I want, insulate the sidings and run and do some shunting on another controller, but at the flick of 2 switches I want to be able to reconnect the sidings to the main line, to the main controller. So that's my idea. No? Now we'll just let the train run a bit and we'll have a look at something else. So we're also seeing a different perspective here, Chapelon-Crosti. Can see, appreciate the footbridge, which is really very, very nice. I'm very pleased about the footbridge. I'm going to give it a light weathering just to tone down the plasticiness of the steps and the pylons. Hello, and got stuck. What classic. Sometimes it gets stuck. It doesn't digest. Okay, I'll now show you what I like of this layout, because I can turn it around and reach it nice and simple. See if this is going to go now. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to have to clean the inside rail on these, because here we've got Mehano has a wider radius than the Jouef, and sometimes this locomotive is not happy. It's probably not very clean. These oxidize more than the Mehano. They're all still steel, also the Mehano. This is the fun of having old track. But I like having old track. I like being able to do things in a budget, because this way, this hobby, which can be very expensive, can be done at a budget and become affordable by recycling old vintage stuff. Yes, it definitely needs a wee clean inside the rail, because of course we'll clean it after. sometimes there can be some belt slip. I say that it tolerates the tight radius, but probably it prefers where the radius is a bit wider. It's a bit fussy, a bit temperamental, this locomotive. Anyway, back to the footbridge. So, remember in the previous video I assembled the footbridge, and we were all thinking, how solid is this thing going to be? I'm trying to park the tripod like that. Okay. And I'm going to show you that this, in fact I'm just going to unplugging the railway anyway, because then I'm going to go to my bed. This is extremely solid. Look at that. I can lift it up. It's not wobbly at all. Look here. See? Watch. I'm trying to position the it's no risk at all of it breaking. It's very, very, very solid even here. Of course, if you insist too much, it could break, but with a sort of normal handling of a model, I can lift it here by the spar, I can move it around. If I wanted, I could just say, okay, I don't want to have it this way, I want to turn it round and fit it this way. It's very okay, very solid, doesn't have any problems. So I'm just leaving it as it is. I'm not doing any, I'll show you even better, watch. Really very solid. And this is because of course I used plenty of glue to get a very good bond, but on the whole I would say that this is sufficient. Of course you have to handle it with care. If you chuck it around it'll break, but this is something that can be lifted, put inside a box. I'm going to have to get a large box to put all these buildings in for this layout, and this will be able to stay inside, everything nicely laid out. So that's the footbridge. A light weathering. I've got some people as well. I have some people on it. Maybe I'll add a couple of street lights here. We'll measure with a person so that they don't bash their head. And my homemade street lights, the ones like on the signal box over there. And that's rather good. So I think we'll finish off the video with that little last lap of the train. I'm not speaking very loudly because it's late and I'd end up waking people up, and I don't like doing that. My plan was to film something this morning, but then I was busy. Okay, let's take this train. I have to switch that on. And here's my high-tech insulation. I've not done any. There we go. And see, it's starting to hiccup. The footbridge really gives a nice effect. I really like it. And so now that we've decided where the footbridge is, we can actually fit the lighting and begin getting this layout as ready. There we go. We'll be able to do some train spotting and Chapelon-Crosti videos soon. These Rocco coaches are very nice. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed it, you can, the usual things, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and share the video, and of course I like to read your comments. So that's an important step in finishing this layout, was this footbridge, because now I can actually drill my holes for the lights and do that other job, and then we'll be able to finally have the place more or less ready, and some final detailing, some bushes, some fences and things to give it a bit more more three-dimensional effect. The footbridge will helps greatly in obtaining that, and just then, of course, these layouts are never finished, but my goal is to begin to put some cars, to begin making the train spotting videos, telling stories like I do also with the Brunel layout over there, which is needing definitely some attention as well. Okay, cheerio, and see you next time. Good night.